Alright, let's start this. I'm already in love.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Truly an awe-inspiring sight.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor. To inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with the chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship rogue trader Theodora von Valencias. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
You can hover over cursor. You can hover your cursor over highlighted words to learn more about them. The tooltips that appear can help you better understand the world or the game or its mechanics. Words are highlighted when they first appear in the text. Scroll up the dialog box to see the desired highlight term again. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So Rogue Trader is that, yeah. I am Division Commissar of the Officio Perfectus, Jake Xanathal. Xanathawa? Go with that.
My regards, Commissar. Finding you was a difficult task given your parents' fate and your upbringing in the Schola Progenium. Truly, our meeting is an act of providence, is it not?
Oh! I will probably be reading out these tooltips purely for, because this, I do intend for this to come up on YouTube. Also, hi YouTube. But because I know a lot of the lore, but I don't know if everybody will. So just to help people understand like what certain things are, I will be reading stuff out. The Schola Progenium, a division of the ecclesiarchy responsible for the upbringing, education, and training of orphans of those officers and nobles who have died in the service of the Imperium.
I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities?
To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencias. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others.
Tell me about the one on whose ship I find myself.
I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back. Especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say, that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities.
You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs. So there is another candidate?
There is. And you will meet him soon enough.
Well, Lord Captain... Oh, actually, I'll just say this.
Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis at the time when the first rogue traders entered the Gold Emperor's service. And therefore, it is sacrosanct.
The Imperium, of course, is the Imperium of Man. It's basically like the banner under which all of non-heretical humans fall under. The Lex Imperialis is Codex of the Imperial Law. Okay. Why have you brought me? Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here?
So that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor.
Okay.
I see that you are shocked. Yes, you understood correctly. Lady Theodora's authority indeed supersedes that of those whom you obeyed before. The Lord Captain's power is so great that she is capable of performing unthinkable feats, such as changing the fate of a servant of the Imperium. Your fate.
Interesting. I assume you have goals in mind when you decide to seek me out. Let's address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Ethelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Okay, so movement. Objects, okay. What's this? Massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood. A resource of incredible value aboard a voyage ship. Okay. Got your tech priests.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Tech priest doing tech priest things.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Guest, what is she doing? A candlelit altar with a copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis and the Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium. Okay, and praying to it, you know? She may live when I take over. She may live. Hello. Okay. These dudes have always been so creepy to me. Servitors. I love 40K. Like, it is. The fact that you can take a human being in your world and basically lobotomize him and turn him into basically a robot, while also saying all AI is heresy, which it is heresy, is... I love 40K, dude. It's so ridiculous and over the top. It's amazing.
One of the Fon Valencia's trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening? Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
No mercy to those who oppose Von Valancius.
Alright. Movement points, okay.
Let's make some opportunities.
To make attacks, okay. Single shot. Okay, so I have to move and then shoot.
It's as good as done. I'll make it happen.
Nice. My first kill!
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
Alright.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
The wires of the servitor head are still smoldering. It seems the cause of this malfunction was a short circuit of the motive force. Okay. Tarantula sentry gun constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus, using a standard template construct. Oh, okay, so it's STC. And the Manufactorum of Kiev Gamma. Okay, so a Lehman Russ.
I always keep my options open.
A shiny rock. An even more shinier rock. Less shiny rock. Got solid, but sure is a turbulent sea with it. It's kind of cool. Interesting. Oh, okay. I have so much reading in my future. Okay. It's over here. CB raise your head again. I'll hand you over to the tech priest for servitorization. The Grand Wardenship template occupies the entire space below the office deck. It is lit by countless candles and lumens. Look at all those people down there. No initiative. No independent thoughts, only the Omnissiah's commandments and adherence to protocol. Hail! 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 May his strength may his will strengthen my heart. May my humble deeds be for the benefit of humanity. Okay.
Is there money to be made?
Heard gave the senior officers another public dressing down recently. I don't know if it was for this time. Latched on to any slip up as an excuse to give somebody an earful. Oh, okay. Blue leprosy. Oh, good. Gracious sir, I repent. I repent of spiritual weakness, of the devastation from his the deviation from his commandments. Do not punish me. Let me make amends with my deeds. State of your uniform. What are you doing in the upper decks looking like that? Oh, hey, tech priests. Nice. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in particular garb, his voice tight with tension, his face half of which is covered by sin skin. He is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be politically and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson, then suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6? Elden Thread? Elden Thread. Survey the room. Your first impression of Elden Thread, who appears to be about 30 years old, is a parchment-like skin stretched over a tight bundle of mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all sign of some illness or deficit that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Elden Thread, Theodora von Valishiousness features appear as if they were carved from marble. Eternal and indestructible, head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Elden Thread. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Jake, approach and give me your answer. Okay, this is the passive skill system. Gotcha. Yeah, I like that. Alright. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis expands. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits. Prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flight of fancy, you might say. But attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanish overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? Okay, and I passed the Xenos and Warp check. Alright, let's read these. Those spirits could well be native names for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Ion 6 engages in Xeno worship. There are many ways to confirm whether this happens to be what is happening on Xeno 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so. They'll give us the answer. I'm a former commissar. I would continue sending in more people, one crew after another, until someone succeeded in their service to humanity in the conquest of Ion 6. Reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interests first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Ion 6 will be mine. Ion 6 must be purged for the good of the Imperium. I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and other worldly powers that rule the native apostates. I do not know. I might be a commissar, but I'm not stupid. I would see if this was Xeno worship. Arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Eldenthrald scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Jake, are simply unaware of their existence. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was more than what you could do, Eldenthran. We're both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Eldenthran. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will find yourself you will live to regret the consequences. Shut your mouth, Eldenthran, before I decide to shut it for you. I find your tone most disagreeable. Well, I find your company disagreeable, Jake, and yet I am forced to endure such. Eldenthran. Her tone renders him silent. Let's check something really quick because my phone just went off. Sorry about this. The fun times of work texting me. I'm off today. I'm sorry. Okay, anyways. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior consigrator is still dawdling about the officer's deck instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. You know, that's a very good question, Eldenthran. Why the hell are you still here? You were given a job, buddy. Now, you can either do your job, or I can shoot you. and make sure that you never move again. Okay. Okay. I'm officially done hitting buttons now. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that, well, I forgot the time. Kiss ass. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Jake, why are you here? There are questions that I wish to have answered. You are direct, I approve, but you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valinus Massimo Afscarius. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. My rights and freedoms are vindicated by the most sacred of relics, the warrant of trade, kept aboard the very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. Just to go over rogue trader, let's go over this. A subject of the Imperium with a unique hereditary title, a rogue trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind. The God Emperor, of course, is the OG, world's most terrible dad, but let's not talk about that. And the Warrant of Trade. The sacred relic document that affirms the preemptive rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Jake, are one of those. Are one of those with the von Valicos. I'm gonna eventually learn how to say this last name. Blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inherency when the hour comes. One of. Does this mean there are other heirs? Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure to meet with one of them. Eldenthradd may be somewhat discordant by the scale of responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of the Warden of Trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may have yet proved useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away, pensive for a moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share their blood. Kunrad served me for many years before he made his mistake. Did I hear that correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. His kinship to me is the most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valinicus. Valinicus? I'm going to say this 16 different times. Or 16 different ways. Even if he avoids using it publicly. As such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. His performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. Interesting. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask you my questions now? The Vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, and all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shutting off the transmission and giving you an imperious nod. I have some time before the Navigator. What's a Navigator? A sanctioned noble mutant, whose genes allow them to safely guide a warp compatible void ship through the warp. Okay, that's what a navigator is. Gives the signal to initiate void ship translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Navigator, translation, what are these things you speak of? So I'm not going to click that because I feel like a commissar would know what that is. Basically, a navigator, what a navigator does is you... Actually, I'm just going to have the game explain it. My explanation skills are not the best. Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. Think Event Horizon. By entering it under the protection of the Geller field, we shorten the route and our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. This is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. An incident took place in the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. I'm gonna need to get a lozenge for all this reading. Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance, or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller field. Or perhaps there's something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all. Theodora laughs nonchalantly. The gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelord? Abelord? Such such hearsay amuses me. Endora eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators. Cogitator is any type of digital computer in the Imperium. Man, it says digital. It's not digital. It's usually connected to a person. And unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Where's this ship heading? The Ricard system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale and one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possess resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you one day will assist House von Valicus, whatever, in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. Alright. I set the course for Ricard on demand. Grimaces, gives you a stern look, and then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose of this voyage. But now is not the time. What is my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard the vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Eldenthread. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Commander freezes, listening to the Voxcast, and then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. If the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth is more present than it may present itself sooner than you may have expected.
Challenges make the spoils that much sweeter.
Alright. Again, I am ambushed. Ooh.
Just a minor setback.
Okay. So I need a shotgun or a pistol if I'm up close.
I don't need luck. I have strategy.
Hey, let's go. Damn, she has 229 health.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Oh, this'll leave a scar.
Well, she has a melta gun. That's good.
Brace yourself, Abelard. One fewer target. For the glory of the Imperium.
Do temporary positive effect from an ally. Oh.
Taking calculated risk is in my second nature. I'll see to it personally. You never stood a
Nice.
chance.
Okay, out of curiosity, can I look at the weapon I have? I can. Okay, so I just have a stub revolver. Gotcha. That's my turn. Gotcha. Nice. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take the team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single horse son survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when the scum burst onto the deck, Not bad. I've seen many officers who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. Now, what is the warp? The warp is an alternative dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror of real space. Also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space. Okay? The incidents with rampaging servitors may be connected to what is transpiring now. Possible. Possibly. Quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her Vox a few times. We'll investigate at a later time. Now we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arc Militant requires aid, but be quick about it. Well, lady, first, can I loot anybody? I have a tool that allows me to check the stats at distance. Alright. Seeing
Keep
this
your
way.
wits about you.
Nope, not that way. Seen?
On it. Always keep your eye on the prize.
Oh, I can't join in that fight. Okay. He has a melta, doesn't he? Yep, that's a melta. Okay, so he's a melta gun. Thank Providence you are alive and well. Always on time, eh, Kunrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. Could set your chrono by it. Kunrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to you. Mort, pull yourself together. Looks back at you. What, did the Lord Captain send you to chive us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away. Mort pulls his fox from the belt and hurriedly reports the situation. Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent, the Vox Master is not responding, armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of our crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report! I have not yet received word from the Engineerum regarding any Geller field failures, but communications were already unstable about half an hour ago. And now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned and advanced. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny. Mutiny? But who would want to attempt a mutiny here in the warp? I'm a commissar. I've seen many a mutiny. Mutiny against the Emperor's anointed. Execute the traitors, every last one of them. Must provide immediate assistance to those still in metal deck. Oh, nope. It's mutiny time. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the navigator's sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Her expression changed as her eyes flash ominously. Theodora looks at Kunrad. Eldenthrald, well, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons. I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is he arrived on the transitional deck 18. Blast it, Master of Whispers. Find Eldenthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Talus and the Sister... The Sister of Battle! Both will remain at my side. Arch-militant, with me. I must go to my study. It appears that we might encounter heretics along the way. Jake! Theodora glances at you thoughtfully. If I may, Lord Captain? His voice is soft and cautious. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance. And if our goal is to bring Eldenthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I am not as adept at directly confrontating enemies of the house as the esteemed arch-militant, and taking into consideration Eldenthrad's psyker abilities, I'm guessing I'm being sent with this guy. Then it is settled. Jake, find Eldenthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him, this elevator, points to the massive door, leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand? I hear and obey. Waves a hand impatiently. Then move out. Mort, come. Kunrad gives you a nod. Are you ready to head to 18? It's a long way. It's a long walk, and you don't need. And you do not even have proper gear. You had better not fail me. The Lord Captain. I keep saying Lord Commander. Where am I picking up Lord Commander from? Maybe that's a title from the Imperial Guard. I don't know. The Lord Captain made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk. I'm not going to say that. I shall make do. Lead the way. Of course you will. He rummages in pocket for something. Lady Theodora would never have sent somebody she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen and you're consumed by This motherfucker just stabbed me. This bitch just stabbed me. I promise you a special destiny, Jake. It is time to fulfill it. You motherfucker. This bitch.